It's a llama! It's a llama doing a groom! Just being cute back here. Cause that's what llama does! Sorry. She was being precious and I had to show her off for a second. Howdy friends! Welcome in! It's Darkwood tonight. I am excited about it, but also terrified. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be just fine. Hi, Devo. It's been a minute since we've heard you screaming on stream. But hey, welcome in. Travis, thank you for the contribution to the wholesome stream that we're planning on doing. Trying to think if there's anything I need to say. Do you want to come here? Come say hi. Come on. You thought about jumping up. Hello, Luna. Thank you for the contribution as well. Come on. It's a Devo. It's a Bo. Can you say hello? Or are you just happy to be petted? You're just happy to be held. Come here. Come here. Be a little ball. It is time to be a ball. Let me just... So pleased. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a noise. Sweet boy. But hello, Luna. Welcome in. Fruity, hello. Travis, hello. Can't wait to see how bad it'll get in Darkwood. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get real bad, real fast. Also, all the kitties. Again, there's Llama. Just doing a groom. Which is more than I've seen her been doing the last day or so. So I'm assuming that means we're on the right track. Hey, Devo, you gotta move or I'm gonna roll you over. And nobody wants that. We don't want a flat Vo. But yeah, hey. Hope everyone's doing well. Not much to say. I am still tired. I think my brain is a little more functional now at this point, although it's been a rough afternoon. It's fine. Yeah. I think we're just gonna hop on in. We considered playing a little bit beforehand to like remember how to do the controls. Hey game, you're extremely loud. Is that an okay volume? Is that too high up? But yeah, I considered playing a little bit. Travis brought it up and was like, "Hey, you wanna play a little bit before stream? Remember how to do the things?" I was like, "Nope, that's a future Kaysh problem." So here we are, as future Kaysh, technically present Kaysh, but it's gonna be interesting to remember how to play. I think we left off in the dry meadow, because we were trying to move everything over from the old woods into the dry meadow, because we now have that shortcut open from the dry meadow to the old woods, just south of the church. This is perfect. This is where we want to be. I do need to remember what's going on, though. I don't want to do this here. I want to do this at the other base. Time is at a standstill, so we can try and figure out what the heck was going on. Like I said, I think yeah, spoopy game time! Hello, Willis. Welcome in. How are you doing? Game. Is the in-game sound okay? Remember, it needs to be a little louder than what we would normally go for. I do have alcohol here. But I don't have the bell with me. That's a problem. Okay. I think we're gonna go the long way to get up here, just so we can remember how to do stuff. To start with, right? But end goal, we want to be at the church to see what's going on there. I think we've finished getting everything we need from the village. And I believe Wolf is at the barn ruins permanently now. Okay, yeah. We're gonna do some base management, right? High chain trap. You know what? No, fuck it. Leave the chain trap there. I don't think... Hey. This is our new doorway. We're just gonna come in and out through here. It's fine. Yeah. So like I said, we're gonna take the long way to get to the old woods, but that's fine. That'll give us a chance to potentially fight some basic enemies, or at least kind of remember what's going on, what we're doing, how to play. I do remember that we had all those very bad chompers in the basement of the church. And we gotta clear those out. Fuck, dog. I don't care for it. Get the shield strats ready. No shields! Only offense. No defense! Only offense. But it also might give us a chance to look at things that we haven't seen in a while. Or have never actually explored. And that's cool. Let's look at those. We got some nails! That's exciting. My general feeling on everything right now. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like everything that occurred last time, how we handled that. Hi, bear trap. But I think that was like the major thing. We did finish up the chicken lady stuff. We got Wolfman to nab her sister. Oopsies. Wolfman definitely ate her. Confirmed that Wolfman is into a lot of taxidermy. He's a big fan of taxidermy. Sorry, I was making some weird noises. Ouch. And, you're still wiggling, bud. He is no longer wiggling. But we still need to get the key for the black box, which should be in the church somewhere, which I think is the big reason why we're trying to explore the basement. But Wolfman also knows where the doctor who stole our big key is for us to get out of the forest. I don't want to be here. So I think we want to try and do the littler things. Well, I say little. I feel like it's still extremely important. More alcohol. And some flares. We should probably save some flares for the bad basement hole. We should probably do some of the, like, quote-unquote side quest things, like the black box, before we let Wolfman take us to where the doctor is. Because doctor is probably, like, fairly endgamey, right? And while I'm excited to see what happens, see what the conclusion of Darkwood is, I would still like to explore some of the other stuff, because there is a lot to explore. Oh no. You know what, guy? Get away from me. I don't want you or your rocks. So that's the general summation of everything that's occurred. It's been a while and I'm kind of shocked.
That's a rock fact.
Accurate. But yeah, I think that's everything for the time being. I'm shocked that I can remember any of that, honestly, considering how fucking wild last week was. But it's fine. We're here now. I'm excited to be back into this terrifying, horrific world that is Darkwood. Look at this. It's not even noon, and we've already made it back home, more or less. I am gonna light the stove here, at this base, because I want to get those extra points for the egg that we have. Mushrooms, please go. Now the real question is, though, do I want to go the short way? Do I want to take the exit near the church? Or, that's a dog. That's a big dog. Come here, big dog. Or do we want to go the way that we just came? Dang. Ouch. Dog, I can't wind up that fast. I want to know how to get in here, though. So what is that, the creepy house? I want to know how to get into the creepy house. It is creepy. There are noises coming from inside of it, which means there might be some good loot in there. Knock, knock. Hello? Classic. Classic. Can I get in through this way? Did I leave a bunch of traps around here? Oh, right. The house got gooped by whatever. Bugs. Bug goop. There are still traps around. Okay, examine. Light the oven. Oven is lit again. Fantastic. Let me get this egg and this odd meat in there. We are about 1,300 away from being able to level up, and that's pretty dang exciting. If I do say so myself, I am gonna take this bear trap. I might as well just take the scrap, because I think all the other traps are gone at this point. Don't like the sounds of people stomping around when there's no people stomping around. Gonna keep that here. What else do I need? Weapon parts. I need matches. I do remember that I needed matches. I'm gonna bring these as well. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave these here. Because I can't make an axe yet. Take one more thing of gas. Battery. And I guess we'll take the shovel. Yeah, might as well. Okay. Alright. Do I want to make Molotovs now? Kinda. Yeah. Wait, I have empty bottles, right? Perfect. Okay, no, we're definitely gonna make these. And I am gonna use the regular alcohol as well. Okay. Fill that bad boy up. Take that with us. We will leave a single gas can here. It is 2 in the afternoon. We will take the longer way back. I don't want to risk... I don't want to risk it right now. Dog, we just left! I don't want to get trapped here, though. I think we've got time to make it back, even if I cut it a little short. The entire house is set up and ready to go for nighttime. And I'm pretty sure we filled the generator last time, and if we didn't, then I'm gonna be extremely upset with past me. I wouldn't leave it. I wouldn't not at least have a day's worth of, or a single night's worth of gas in there. Panic is real now. I do have that ability where I can just sprint for a good long while. I need to remember to use my abilities, especially at nighttime. I'll use the sprint if we're still a ways off. We got 3 hours though. Unless... Unless? No, I'll give it until we get like halfway through the Silent Forest. God, our man is so breathy. But especially since I'm, like, ferrying stuff back to the other base, I don't want to risk the shortcut and die and lose a bunch of stuff that I need. I'd much rather go in a direction that I know I can handle. Or, in theory, can handle. And just take a little longer. Slow and steady and all that shit, right? I don't know. I'm just saying words at this point, because I'm panicking. The fear has already set in. Ouch! You just have rags on you. Yeah, slow and steady will keep you up past dark. We've got 2 hours, right? And I think we're okay. I think we're fine. Please, I would like to know where I am in relation to literally anything. Is this... This is the base. Okay. Yeah, 2 hours before orange, 4 before full dark. I think we're okay. Yeah. Real talk? I don't think I would ever play this game if the sun set at different times every day. Like, even if it was just, like, off by an hour or something, I would hate it, and I wouldn't play it. Oh, that's a mushroom man ass. Hello, mushroom man. Does that don't starve? Yeah, I know, and I hate it. Maybe that's why I hate Don't Starve. Please. Where's the house? There it is. We found it. What are you stuck on? What are you stuck on? Stranger. I need you to be in... Was there a root? It was a tiny root and I hated it. It's fine. That's a fence. Not me starting to freak out. You know what? Let's get that skill going. We're almost there. I would like to put my things away before I have to worry about stuff. It did it! It managed it! It tripped me up a little bit! Wow, skill doesn't last very long. I guess it's long enough to get away from a bad situation. But... oh no. Thunder. That's thunder. I am too far off to the east. Gotta move over to the west a little bit. And north. Yeah. Oops, all bad situations. Okay, let's drink from the well. It's fine. Look, we made it back. I'm walking awfully close to the walls. I didn't turn the generator off. The generator's been running all day. Are you shitting me? This is the first time that I've ever done that. It's fine. It's fine. It wasn't empty. It was okay. It was fine. I need to turn it on! Oh my god, I've done it all so bad! Dad somewhere is grumbling about the thermostat. He can grumble all he wants. Okay, let's do another Molotov. And another Molotov. And another Molotov. And a chain trap. Put some scrap metal away. We'll put these here. This'll go in here. That'll go away. Please. Game. Oh, I hate everything. Lamia, that's you. What are you yelling about? Hang on a second. What are you screaming about? Huh? What? I thought that was in game and it spooked me. You okay? Yeah? You're alright. You're okay. Good girl. Hi. You're alright. Okay. thought her little cries were in-game and it scared the crap out of me. I can't see. I can't swim? Where? Yeah, I know. I know if I'm to stay here, I need to light the oven. Oven is lit, game. Okay. You know what? Let's do this here. And let's put the chain trap here as well. And we'll just... let's throw this on this side. And then I'll quickly just kind of... everything's organized the way it needs to be. I do... I do need to repair our, board. Board needs repairing. There's a trap out there. I know there's a trap out there because I saw it. And there is a chain trap there. So I have a chain trap in front of every possible entrance to the bedroom, which is what we need. I've got Molotovs, which I will put here for the basement. I'm going to save those for the basement because I vaguely remember that we did it bad. And all of the chompers are, like, right at the bottom of the stairs. What is this sound? Well, I didn't like that! Also, while I'm thinking about it, grip it and rip it. Someone set off a trap. Where? It was a chain trap. That one's still there. That one's still in place. It was definitely this one. Yep, I saw it. You know, the rain makes it really difficult to see. Okay, he broke the trap. It's fine. It's 3 in the morning. We got 4 hours. We've done it pretty good so far. The rain has stopped. I remember a time... someone's opening doors. I remember what time when I thought Dead Savage. I remember when we thought the Dry Meadow was difficult. Which it's still, like, not great. But it is so much nicer compared to the Old Forest, or the Old Woods, and the Silent Forest. And while we don't get nearly as much reputation, that is fine. I think we were pretty solid on reputation with the Trader, at least. And I don't know that Wolfman has anything that we want from, or that we need from him anymore. No! No! Sir! fucked myself over there because I tried to close the door on him. But he was in the room, so it counted as him being on this side of the door. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Everything is fine. Can I just push this back this way? Thank you. Great. Fantastic. It's all fine. Hi, trader. Ooh. Do you have anything that I want? Yeah, I kind of want all of this stuff, but I'm gonna buy some nails. And we're gonna buy those. And I think that's everything that I want. You know, no, I can buy the egg and save it for later, right? Because the eggs don't go bad. Okay. So this is fine. Nails. I have lockpick. Let's just go ahead and make that. I can put the rag away. I should keep multiple heal items on me at this point. Feel like that would be a wise decision. I'm gonna put that there because it's right next to the flashlight. Do I want these though, or do I just want... Let's swap those out. Scrap. Okay. Put that up there. I think I'm fairly happy with that. Bitch walked around my chain trap. That's a little frustrating. Okay. I think I'm happy with the current state of things. And I think I'm ready to try the basement. Like, I'm as ready as I'm gonna, like, ever gonna be, right? No matter what I do, it's gonna just be a bad experience. And we might as well do it while I'm still feeling vaguely confident. And competent. Alright. Let's go. We're stationed just south of it. We're not that far away. I think we'll be alright. What other... Be able to heal myself by standing next to an electric light source? I'll be able to scare off nearby enemies. That might be helpful in the basement, just to get them away from the stairs. Maybe? I don't know if that's gonna work. Here's the bad house. That looks nothing like what it's presented as. God, it goes from being so peaceful to just bad. Dog! I swung too soon! I don't necessarily need his gunk, because I feel like it's gonna gonna rot before I get a chance to go back, right? There's no point unlocking that. Is there? Nails and boards! Nails and boards! More mushies! I'm gonna leave those mushies there. Homemade shotgun. I think that was broken. It is broken. Okay. Fuck. Stop! I am on fire, I'm gonna die. However, one of them is also on fire. Okay. What did I lose? What did I lose? I still have some Molotovs. I only have one stack of Molotovs. And I lost all the nails. Okay. Do I have the odd meat? Nope, I lost the odd meat as well. Fantastic. I love that for me. Amy! Hello. How's it going, friend? Okay, but you know what? We did manage to hit one of them, and I don't think that they heal over time. So I am pleased with that. Right? How's it going, flying girl? How you doing? Got it handled. It's gonna be great. I'm glad you have tea, and I'm sorry that you're at work. Hopefully work hasn't been too terrible today, or at least has been manageable. Is that a tree or is that goop? I think that's goop. When did the goop show up? Good. I'm glad it's been all right. Bad goop? Or are those trees? That looks like goop. No, that's trees. It's not goop. It's fine. Don't worry. Not actually goop. Okay, well, that didn't go great. I should have brought those flares with me. 7. Hold on. Can we... I'm gonna put Molotovs on 2, flashlight on 1, board on 3, gun on 4. Yeah, please stop doing whatever you're doing at me. Okay. That 2 of them? Ah, I stepped on some mushies. Everything is scary because everything is scary. I hope that clarifies things for you. I don't know why everything is as terrifying as it is, but it is, and I hate it. There's another chomper. Awesome. Fuck! Fuck! Okay, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely we'll make our way through here. We have killed 2 of them. That's great. Okay, I wanted to reload my gun, not my flashlight, please. I've dropped my bullets. I have no more bullets. I do have my Molotovs back, though, so that's pretty great. You know what? Fuck it. I want to get... It's better than nothing. It's fine. I'm gonna bring some gas with us. Because I don't think I have filled up that generator. And that might help a bit. Like, I know some lights are on, but I don't think that those are all of the lights. Also, I have no idea what time it is. I don't have my watch on me anymore. Okay. Well, this is unfortunate. I wish I had more health. I wish that the armor that you can make actually did something. That's okay, Fruity! You need to go to sleep. And if you need to go to sleep, then do that. That's important. I'm sorry that you have to be up as early as you do tomorrow. But get some good rest, and we'll see you later, friend. We'll make sure to let you know if anything significant happens. The bed command works, by the way, but you gotta call someone out. Later, Fruity! Okay. Alright. I should have dropped off the nails that I have. Okay. We're gonna die a ton here, and I need everyone to just know that now. Just know that we're gonna continue to do it really bad for a while we make extremely slow and excruciating progress in this very, very bad basement. Okay, it is now on. Shit, I am on fire! Hi, Arcade! Definitely more chomp. I'm dead. I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. I've barely made it out of there. How's it going? How are you doing, friend? We're just getting chomped. Roll bad. It's fine. Not worried. I'm worried. I'm very worried. Oh. Dead red chopper! Beautiful. Oh. Okay, please. Fire go out. It is true, I am bait. He died! Perfect! How many more baddies are there in here? Okay, strong. Debatable at this point. Box was searched. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh no. Okay, okay, okay. That chomper is dead. That's my other backpack. Beautiful. That's the radio that absolutely fucked me over last time. This is a dead end. Is time stopped down here? 318. I guess it has, hasn't it? That's great. I love that for me. Don't open the corpses. Don't look at the corpses. Is there nothing down here except just badness? Please. This is extremely unfortunate. Oh no. No more case of the oranges for now. For now! There's absolutely nothing down here. Scary children. 3910. 3910. Is there a... Is there something that's locked with a code here? Three 3910. There were a couple, but I don't know that I could unlock those. I'm gonna be ballsy as fuck, though, and I'm gonna run back to the other base. I want this experience that I have just sitting in my pocket. I don't know that there's lots of different locks that we can try, honestly. I am gonna heal up real fast. Dog, no. So it might be in the village. It might be one of these buildings. I don't remember if the creepy house needs a key or has a lock on it. Dog! Fucking kidding me. Please! No, 100%. It's very difficult to keep track of everything. Shit. a heck of a scream! It got the chomper and the dog away from me, though. Look, I would leave the dogs alone if the dogs just left me alone. But yeah, the lockbox in the village, I don't believe we did unlock, but we had that piece of paper that gave us half the code. But it was, like, torn on the edge. So I don't know that we'd be able to get it, you know? Dismantle. Wait, no, don't. I can't. No, I can crawl through here. Crawl through. What time is it? It's 4? Almost 4? Okay, we can make this. We can do this. I still have the sprint option, so... Use that, use that, use that, use that, use that, and use that. Never mind. What is this? Healing items will be less effective. My accuracy will decrease. These are all terrible. My vitality will increase. I'll deal double damage in melee when close to death. Once a day I will be able to become invisible to enemies if I stay still. Where's the power that makes us get a game over immediately? For real, though? I'm gonna take the vitality. And... accuracy. Guns are sort of last resort for us anyway. Okay. What is it? It's 4 o'clock now. Time to run away! Drink from the well. Let's go. That's not a ton more health. Hold on. Dog! Okay. We're away from the dog. I don't necessarily mind how punishing some of these level ups are. Especially since we're just gonna chill out in the dry meadow for as long as possible at this point. But, would like to be able to get there. Give me whatever's in here. I got space in my inventory again. More pills! Great! Where am I? Nowhere that I can see on my map. I love that for me. Hoof! Dog! Okay. I don't care so much about the next level up, so we'll probably just use this one there. I'm getting good! I'm getting good at doing the dodge! I'm very happy with myself. We were struggling with it last time. You just gotta sidestep once the dog comes at you. I am where I need to be. Thank goodness. And we still got like 45 minutes to spare! Great! I've already forgotten what the code was that we got off that locket, but I can look at the locket through my journal at some point. I wonder... Again, I wonder if it's for the creepy house. 3910, was that it? Was it? Is it actually? Travis. Good, I did remember to turn the generator off this time. Okay, let's quickly light this. I want to try it at the creepy house. There is also... There was one here, I think? Where is it? I need to replace this before I forget. This one. It's not that I don't trust you. Do just want to double check though. Medallion. Nope. Gain. 3910. Dang. I think Creepy House needs a key as well. It's not for this one. Okay. Well, good to know. Dog. We've got a little bit of time before I have to turn the generator on, so let's replace the chain trap that I had outside. We'll also do one more. And this. I wish I had this earlier, but that's okay. Put that away. We'll put... No, I'll make another one of these. Put the nails away. Dogs. Alcohol will go away. I guess I should make Molotovs. I might as well. I've got the supplies for it. Watch will go there. That'll go there. That'll go there for now. Okay. Please, I'm clicking on you. I need you to turn on generator. Thank you. Drag this on over. Oh, we still haven't explored the wedding area because we need a code for that, right? So... Damn it. Hold on. Well, this isn't gonna go great. I don't have the means of setting this up outside. Oh well. We'll put it on the inside. We'll use the bear trap on the inside. Right there? I liked having, like, the double whammy trap in here, though. That was really nice. It took care of that savage for us. Yeah, just don't forget it's there. No promises. I mean, I'll put it, like, here, and I don't usually go down here. You know? I mean, it's still entirely plausible for me to forget that it's here. But I also want to make sure that if some dude busts in, there's at least potentially something to stop him from totally wrecking my day. Oh, it's fine. We got this. It's fine. I can already hear people wandering around outside. Good. Great. Love that. You love to see it. Oof. I'm just gonna do a quick stretch while we've got a moment to chill out. I really want to get into the creepy house as a thing. But yeah, I think you're right, Luna. I think it needs a key. Which is unfortunate. But I'm trying to think of any other locations that we have that need a code. No, so it's I think the creepy house has a metal door, which you can't break down metal doors, from my general understanding. And I think we tried previously. Not an earthquake, please. That's gonna shift the wardrobe outside, though. It's just your wiggling. We can try to bust it down since we're done at the church. I think we're done at the church. There was nothing down in the basement, is the thing. But I thought he said that there... If I do this... Key to the burned house, cellar key, key to the wolf's hideout. Medallion, dog tag, doctor's instructions, journal. Time is paused when I open up my journal. Okay, that's nice. We've unlocked a lot of stuff. Hold on. Chicken head. The wolf gave me a dismembered chicken head. He told me to give it to the chicken lady as a thank you for the wonderful sister. I don't know what he means by that, but it can't be good. Wolf's disappearance. Sup, Matt? The wolf didn't want to talk to me anymore. He grunted that he had something urgent to take care of and rushed off. If this wolfman thinks that he will get rid of me so easily, then he's mistaken. He mentioned he'll be staying in the northern part of the old woods. This is where I will find my companion. Doing good. Doing some spooky games. Everything's really bright because this this journal is white, so it's washing me out, but that's fine. How are you doing? How's it going? Chicken lady's despair. The chicken lady is desperate. Her sister is missing. She's pleading me, or she pleaded me to help her. Maybe I'll manage to find a lead. Day 21, returns to the doctor's house. The wolf told me he could take me to the doctor's house, which seems to be the place where that fucker kept me and stole my key. Supposedly I'll find a clue there on how to get to his current hideout. Maybe I'll learn what precisely went down that night. To this day, I have no idea how I managed to escape. Which series is that? Day 24, map to the doctor's house. I've shown the blood-soaked shawl to the chicken lady. She figured out what happened to her sister. Fell into despair and blamed the doctor. She left me a note with some instructions from him. The note contains a hint on how to reach his house. Time to get even. I have heard of Lupin the Third. It's good stuff. Yes, classic. Classic anime. Okay, the question is, do we want to follow the old ladies? Is it good? I haven't watched it, but I remember hearing that it had come out. The question is, do we want to follow the chicken lady's directions, or do we want to follow the wolf man? I'm a grandma. I'm 16. I'm a grandma. Excuse you. I'm not 16. It's 3D, but it doesn't stray too far from the classic one. Nice. We did already betray Pretty Lady. But what's stopping us from following the chicken lady's instructions? Because she gave us directions to where the doctor is hiding out, right? I'm just worried that, always good to go for that nostalgia factor. My concern at the moment is that if we go with Wolfman, that he's gonna, like, he's in cahoots with the doctor or something. And I am worried about that. I don't want that to be a thing. I'm gonna close that. We're gonna just go ahead and start pushing this up where it goes. Not more guys. Not more guys! Sir, it is morning. It is time for you to leave. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, it's a party. I didn't invite these people. Who told you this was a place to party? Is it really? Well, happy lucky day to arcade. I hope it means we'll do good. I very, very much hope so. Because it's kind of just been all bad recently. Let's go ahead and do that. I have not seen Street Sharks, actually. Not Travis. Not the Cowboys of Mumesa. But yeah, no, I haven't seen Street Sharks. Can't say I'm familiar with it. Okay, that's back where it needs to be. Oof. No one's seen Cowboys of Mumesa. I'm still not convinced that Travis didn't make it up. I don't care if you've got merch for it, Travis. It's not real. Can't be. Also not familiar with Extreme Dinosaurs. I know dinosaurs. Let's go ahead and use up some of our gasoline. We're getting to the point where we're getting a little low on our goods. Need to watch at least 20 episodes. Where can I watch it? Where can I potentially watch? Only boys who ride horses, not boys. No boys made of cow. Okay, but we love a good boy who is a cow. That's an illegal silly. Sure, but like, gotta point me in the right direction. Cowboys and Mumesa are cowboys that are cowboys. Alright, no, I'll check them out. I'll see what I can do about watching these things. Here for it. Oh, 2K movie. Goodie but, or an oldie but a goodie. Wow, they just really, like, opened every door, didn't they? I wanna be a cowboy, baby. I wanna be a cowboy. For any of my Vine-loving friends out there. What am I doing in your boot? I shouldn't be there. Can you imagine? Just wiggle my way into your boot. Arcade, thank you for the contribution to the wholesome stream. It's gonna be a good, fun time. I should really just top off this generator, shouldn't I? We got points. I should just buy all of this man's things. Thank you, Matt, for the contribution as well. But are you really broke if you get to witness the delightful, wholesome streams? That's the real question. I gotta fill this shit up. Oh my god. Please. Um... It's a shame. Do you love me a good McFlurry sometimes? Sometimes you just want to eat garbage. And that garbage is a McFlurry from McDonald's. But then McDonald's is like, can't do that. Is Vines on the floor? Sometimes? It's just the overlay, letting you know you can't actually see there. It's fine, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be concerned about it if I were you. It's safe and normal and fine. Let's go ahead and put this one here as well, because I'm tired of people breaking into my fucking house. Is there anything else that I need to get rid of? Hold on just a second. It's safe, but do we know that it's legal? Nah, forest is slowly creeping in on everything. It's gonna take over all of the things. Is there anything else that I need? I guess I'll just go ahead and top that off. Gotta go out to sea for all your crime needs. Okay, so we've got I don't like the placement of any of these things. That's fine. Where are we trying to go? We should look over the church ruins again, just to see what's going on there. And then... again, do we want to go? Do we want to let Wolfman take us to the doctor? Kind of concerned about that. I love Wolfman. Alright, let's just take a moment to acknowledge the fact that I love Wolfman. But Wolfman is also sketchy as fuck. And don't wanna... My biggest concern about him working with the doctor, if he's working with the doctor, is that I might have to put an end to Wolfman. Let's let Wolf Daddy eat us. I mean, I would. The list of people that I would let murder me is, a little uncomfortably long. But I wanna, hold on, can we journal? I do got lots of hair. I mean, definitely up there. Definitely in the top 10. Reggie, top 10 men that I would let murder me. Well, I can't even say just men. There are plenty of people that I would just let absolutely destroy me in the literal sense of the word. What am I looking at? What am I trying to find? Our little box. Strange box. There are no codes on it. Well, if worst came to worst, I would 100% let my cats eat me. Just, you know, at that point, like, it's fine. You got a doggo? How precious are they? On a scale of 1 to 500. Why are they at 1,000? Whiskey! Whiskey! Precious. Perfect. Sweet bean. Freaking love animals. Was there... Sorry, I'm trying to, like... Grandpa, no! Grandpa, no! We have, like... We've cleared everything out, right? So there's no more monsters. But... Yeah, Grandpa, that's cool. I love surprise animals. Well, not always, but usually. That corpse has exploded. I can walk on it. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch! Twisted key! We found it! Also, hi, Allie. I love you. How are you doing? I'm glad we came back here. Okay, I'm gonna not have that equipped anymore because, well, I guess I will for a second so I can reload it. And then we'll swap over. Hi, friends. How are you doing? We got the key we needed. I knew there was something in there. Okay, so we do 100% gotta go chat at Wolfman now, right? Because he said he was gonna help us open that thing. I am scared to open the thing. Walking home. Excuse me. I'm glad that you're off work at a decent time. This is extremely exciting. What was that? Hold on. Crate. It's just a shell and a battery. I'll take the battery. Was it really worth the lockpick? Oh. It is orphan child season, you are correct. Just get the little Yeah, there's bad dogs in this game. I'm sorry. They're all terrible. There's still a chomper in there. We're not going in there. Oh, it's a dog. It's a large dog. Or are they called huge dogs? I think they're called huge dogs. No! Chompers! Not a crow! Bork, bork! I'm a crow! No, I would argue that these are bad dogs. As unfortunate as it is. There's so many chompers over here. Why? No. That's bad mushrooms. That's also bad mushrooms. Oh my god, I hate it here. I've made a terrible mistake coming through here. You know what? Don't like our shortcut. Stop! Dog, why did you pause? My goodness. Where am I? We gotta go north. I need to heal. Okay. 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 Yeah, Mushroom Men, do got those cakes. And when they blow up, that's all they leave behind. Is them cakes. Because they don't want to deny the world. Them cheeks. Dog, please. Dog, please. Dog, please. It's true. It's true. It's not just... He's... Mushroom Man, not just a snack. But a whole damn meal. We don't appreciate Mushroom Man around here, though. He is loud and giggles a lot and likes to try and ruin your day. And it's not great. I would like to try and get into Wolfman's house now, please. Not the soggy cakes. Not the Mushu cakes. Please. Are these train tracks? Why? Still just labeled as Old Woods. Okay, well, we'll look at that in a minute. I want to get into the house. I just want to get to where the Wolfman is. Moon's doing cool things. Moon, what are you doing? What's the moon doing? You can't just say it's doing cool things and not specify. Dog. Not how it works, buddy. IRL moon. I got an electronic game? What the fuck is this? Do you think this is funny? Are you mocking me? Do I look like a joke to you? No, shake my head. Sorry, I didn't mean to upset him. Do love me some cool moon stuff. Cool big orange Cheshire cat things. Ooh! Ooh! Give it to me. The wolf snatches the box and the key from my hands. Muttering under his breath, he attempts to open the box. After a while, the lid gently slides open and the wolf peeks inside carefully, squinting his eyes. He looks at the contents in silence, then lifts his gaze at me. Is this a fucking joke? Are you some sort of fucking clown or something? I don't know what that says. I don't speak Russian. I got a shiny stone, though! Wolf is eating mushrooms. Or is that the dog? Dog ate mushrooms and is sad. Well, we're all sad except for me? I'm assuming this is me. It's probably not me. That's the seesaw! Is there... We do love the moon. I wonder if there's a lockbox or something that I can enter a code into near where the seesaw is. So he's chopping down the dog house, and then the house catches fire. And now they're all sad. Wait! That's the doctor. That's our little musician buddy, right? That's the lady who had, like, the little monster baby. What? Everyone died and the little girls are sad. Yeah, there was mention of a monster baby. Wolfman takes out a few crumpled pieces of paper from the box and throws them in my face. As they fall to the ground, I also notice a shiny stone among them. Some fucking scribbles. I'm warning you, mate. Do not dare waste my time again. Louie needs the doctor? I think so. Strikes might be spookier than the game. Oh no. Okay, so that's all the items that I can show him. Can I trade the stone? Please. I don't want it. What can I buy from him? These. Let's go ahead and do this. Uh-oh.
We like the moon cuz it is close to us. We like the moon, but not as much as a spoon cuz that's more used for eating soup, and a fork isn't very useful for that unless it has got many vegetables, and then you might be better off with a chopstick, unlike the moon.
What is this from, Allie? Allie, what is this? What is this? Can we close? I kind of want to go to the doctor's house with Wolfman. Lyrics to We Like the Moon. Okay. I don't know that I'm familiar with this song. Going to the doctor's house? Nod. Let's go! I will. No, I will. Oh, I will. More time. Hold on, where are we? Can't do that now. I know where we are. Perfect. Location already marked. Road to the doctor's house. Is time at a standstill? I think time's at a standstill. Time does appear to be at a standstill. It's a song from Sesame Street or something. Okay. It doesn't help that it's just spoken, and probably in the wrong cadence as well. We love Kimrold, and I love her renditions of holy shit. Sorry, that's like... that's deep. Do the class thing. It's important. Do the class thing! Locked, I need a key. Use key? None of my keys fit. Okay, well... it's worth a try. There's nothing else here, so, like, let's leave this bad place. Yeah, no, like I was saying, we love Kimrold and we love her renditions of things. But it doesn't always land. As far as accuracy is concerned. She is trying, and we love that for her. And I love to see her creative process. Hear what she comes up with, but... makes recognizing things a little difficult sometimes. Plain countryside bed. The metal buckles with the leather straps fastened to the bottom of the bed are twisted and broken. I can move this bed. Yeah, we love to see the effort. Where's the doctor? Where? Daddy went out and left. Your head is starting to split. Angry and hungry he was. I'm hungry too. Can't move. Head is exploding. And if I move, I'll burst myself. Where the doctor is, supposedly. I'm gonna kill that before it can kill me. It was a mercy killing. Not Quiznos, subrats. Dead madman. Rusty key. You love to see it. You do not love to see it. A partially decomposed corpse. The left hand has been bitten off together with the arm. Okay, before we do that... Doctors are wild and eccentric. Yeah, no, time has stopped. Thank goodness. But yeah, doctors are weird, wild creatures. Unlocked with the rusty key. What's in here? Odd stone and an axe. I now have an axe. And I'm extremely pleased about this. Okay. How fast does this thing go? Pretty fast. Time to ask some questions. Beautiful. Okay, well, there's a bad body here. And... search this crate. What in the fuck? Ice, a finger, some odd meat, a leg, an ear, an arm. At least they're keeping it on ice. Hey, doctor! What the fuck, my dude? That is the question I must ask. What the actual fuck, my man? Okay, I have to crawl through one of the windows. Might as well start here, where there's this body. I know him. Is that the doctor? That kind of looks like the doctor. Huge empty cages. It is! I know where we are. Safe locked with a code. Is it 3910? Wrong code. Okay, this is where we started the prologue. Some gas, some alcohol, some pills, some... This is... mildly problematic. There's a lot here, and not nearly enough space in my inventory at the moment to really be able to, like, take all of it with me. It is still 9 in the morning, though. Let's make it majorly problematic, please, no. I mean, I saw that dog out there. I saw it getting ready to come in. Which is a big ol' problem. Photo. Is that a person? Please don't let it be the prologue dog. Alcohol distiller. Homemade device for producing moonshine. Okay, well, can I use it? Ah! It's fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. There's another rope. Don't need all this rope. Well, this seems not great. I would love that. I would love for a dog to just kind of come up to us and be like, just do a sweet little tiny little mwah. That'd be great. Thoroughly enjoyable. However, the game does not want us to have a nice time with dogs, and that's unfortunate, but it is the way of things. So I think we need to go back. I think we need to go back to the dry meadow. Drop some things off. And then come back and continue on. But definitely going back first. Also, holy shit, have we already been live for like almost 2 hours? Time has flown by. Oh, hiccups. Ouchies. Woof. Because, yeah, the entrance here isn't too far from... Yeah, it's not that far from the dry meadow. Do have to kind of go through a new-ish area. Because I think we've vaguely run around over here, but not on this side of the fence. So, there's the potential for some bad things. I see that scrap. I see that bear trap. There's a dog there. I want to go this way. Through here? Through here. Right? Yeah. Yeah! Woof! Alright, well, we're making a lot of progress, and I'm very happy about that. Do still gotta kind of figure out where some of these codes go to. I think I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Ugh. Thank you, Arcade. It's that moment when you sneeze too hard and you immediately forget what you're doing. You ever have that problem? Alright, let's do some quick inventory management. That can go away. We don't need this weapon anymore. We'll put this here as well. This can go away. This can go away. Dog. Don't be a problem, dog. We'll go ahead and upgrade, or not upgrade, repair that. We'll make another Molotov, and then I will put these in here. I'm gonna save the empty bottles so we can make Molotovs with the gas, but that's also gonna be kind of like a last resort sort of a situation. We want to sell that off. Guess we'll sell those. That'll go with weapons. And we'll go here. Don't like having this much stuff on me at this point, but I kind of need to keep a lot of this on me, right? This can stay. I have enough weapons, honestly. Yeah, that's acceptable. Hold on, what does it take to repair the axe? Scrap and boards. Okay, that's fine. It's still not damaged enough for me to, like, need to repair it at the moment, but it's nice to know what I need to kind of save, so we can repair it when the time comes. Let's go ahead and do some more exploring in the place where the time stands still. Because it won't take us that long to get there. And then we can just take our sweet time to loot and explore. Oh boy. And depending on what happens, we might end a little early. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot happening, and... Oh no. Dog. Dog! Dog! Just gonna leave all the dogs lying around. I don't need their odd meat. Like, another level up would be cool. But also, just whatever. It's fine. I would be curious to, like, try and run through this game without leveling up at all. I'm sure it's possible. Like, leveling up has to be, like, optional, right? Just to give you more backstory, more hints about what's going on, and whatever. And something tells me that us trying to, like, mutate ourselves through mushroom and meat injection, probably not the best for our health, regardless of what the upgrades say. Can't be an ideal sort of situation, right? Okay, what... Did we did search through that one. And I don't have a code for that. Oh! Empty cages. Running into a doorway. It's fine. There is nothing up here. It was worth a quick look. Okay, let's go into the bad woods, I guess. 3 blocks away ahead. Wait, are you serious? Then what am I supposed to do? I'm stuck on a tree. I'm stuck on a tree. Oh, I don't like it up here. That's a fence. Can I climb over it? This can't be right. Right? Like, this is... Yeah, those are trees that are blocking my way. Okay. Wowie! Then where... There isn't really anything else for me to, like, look at in here. There's this. And the fact that it's called a safe locked with a code makes me think that we can find the code somewhere, but where? Oh! 4... 9... Hold on. 4, 5, 9... 4, 5, 9 what? 2? No, that was wrong. Hold on. So... 4... 5... 9... Please. 0? 4... 5... 9... 1. We're gonna brute force it, because I don't know what else to do. 4, 5, 9, 3. 4, 5, 9, 4? Five. Please, code. Seven. Unless that's supposed to be a 6? Like, okay, you can see that. Hold on. That number there, right? Right here. That's a 4. And that's a 5. And I'm assuming this is the right direction because it goes from here to here to here, all the way over here? So maybe it's 4, 5, 6? Something? 4, 5, 6, 4? 8! 8! Sorry, there it is. Nope. There's a number right there. So 8, 4, 5, 9. 8. I thought I had looked there. But... Got it. Got it! Right, yeah. It definitely kind of messes everything up when you miss the very first clue. But that's okay. Doctor's note with a code. Code to the cart door 3543. Hold on. 3543. I'll put cart code. Cart code. Close that, please. And what's this? Map shows a train wreck. Yeah, that 8 was hiding. It's fine, we figured it out. We got there eventually. So then is the cart... I assume the cart's gonna be by the train, right? I can't look at my map right now. I'll still just try it here. Wait, no. Excuse me. There were just body parts in there, and I don't want any of those body parts. Those are bad body parts. Okay. Again, accomplishing a lot tonight, and that's very exciting. Hold on, I gotta sit up a little bit. But, wowie. So the doctor's dead. He does not have our key anymore. Assumably. What is this toy for, by the way? It is a rocket ship. I wonder if I could have sold that and or given it to Piotrek before he went off into outer space. We can sell it. It's worth a lot of reputation. I'll give it to the trader because he's kind of who I'm hardcore relying on right now. Train wreck. Train wreck is very close. And it's still very early in the morning. So... maybe we'll go to the train wreck right now. I just don't want any of these chompers to notice me. Do not perceive me! Please. Perceivant? What just happened? Rabbit set off the set off the explosive man. I don't think I'm far enough east. I don't like all these bad sounds that I'm hearing. What is that? What is that? It's mushrooms. I don't like that it sometimes doesn't, like, let you know that you can interact with a thing until you are on it. And at that point, you've set it off and it's tried to murder you. It's more mushrooms. I don't know that I care to level up anymore. Honestly. Okay, so there's a train wreck here. Cool, we found it. What else? More mushrooms. There's gotta be something else here, right? Like, why else? Don't step on it. We had a note about a lock near the cart. There's not really anything to do? Like, there's nothing to interact with. I can't go in it. And going around it just leads back to, like, the regular area. Metal door! What was it? 3543? Got it. What are you doing here? Torn photo. Don't come near me. Doctor! Talk to me. Oh, you do not look great, my guy. Hold on a second. Our man does not look fantastic. Doctor's lying against the train's car wall. His face is covered in sweat. An intense odor of alcohol hangs in the air. Do not come close, you rotten dog! I won't give you the key. Can't you understand? I saved your life. You'd rot away in that clearing if it wasn't for me. You owe me, for fuck's sake. Doctor moves closer to the wall, grotesquely kicking his legs against the floor. Think I don't know who you are, you rat? I've managed to get a good look at you. Your kind visits us whenever you please. You hide behind the trees, watch us from a distance, and then disappear. You have no idea how it is to live here. This place, these woods, everything is fucked up here. I won't take it anymore, do you understand? I won't bear the look of those deformed, reeking bodies anymore, nor the cries of those wretched villagers. First they begged for help, now I need to hide from them. I'm just an ordinary doctor. How the fuck was I supposed to help them? How? The doctor goes silent. His face, now hugging the wall of the train car, looks truly pathetic. Can you hear it? It's the walls. They speak to me. The little girl is calling me. I know she's waiting for me. I must come back to her. She's so close. His voice breaks down. I want to go back home. I can see panic in his eyes. Please, this key is my only chance. Help me escape this place. Help me or kill me. I mean, he was kind of a monster, right? fuck. I kind of want to kill him, but also, like... I don't know... Alright, yeah, don't talk about your patients like that. I'm of the mind to do a murder on him! Y'all cool with that? We cool with me killing this man? He's kind of a shithead. Please, no! Doctor grabs my leg. Right? I also like a good murder on a bad man. Key to the underground. The only thing that, like... A moida! We've done a moida! Oh no! No, I think, like, my biggest hesitation with not killing him is that we don't know... It's true, we do often have regrets for not killing bad men. It happened the once, but I did learn my lesson. Again, like, my biggest hesitation with not killing him was mostly over the whole... We know that we're supposed to go through this, through the underground tunnel, right? We know that that's a thing that... Well, we think that that's a thing that we need to do. Okay, fine, cool. We don't really know what's through there? So what if we let him go through? But used him as, like, a meat shield. You know? Pushed him through the... Or, like, let him go through the tunnel, check out everything ahead of us. Maybe let him set off some traps, deal with some monsters for us. Clear the way a little bit, so... as it were. I don't know necessarily that that is what would happen, but that's what I was kind of thinking. Right? Let me grab this man by the nape of the neck and just turn him into a meat shield. Let that be an option for me. I'm definitely gonna be playing this again. Probably a little further down the line, but trying some of the other options, like, giving the key to the pretty lady, to the boy. Yeah, no, 100%. But at the same time, that feels like something that the game might do. Just because of how brutal and horrible it is. It'd be like, oh, see, like, you feel bad for the doctor, and you're giving him the key, and letting him, like, go through this tunnel, but then it turns out that he is just gonna die anyway in the tunnel, right? That feels like something that the game would do. Which I would interpret as meat shields. I don't think the game would be that kind and just let him leave the woods unscathed. But I'm definitely gonna play this again sometime and, like, try some of the other options. Like giving the key to the pretty lady to the little guy. Just the little guy. To the musician kid. Or trying to, like... I don't know. Yeah, like, not necessarily killing the doctor. Trying some of those other options, you know? I'd be curious to see, like, how much that actually, like, affects, the game. Because I feel like it would do quite a lot. I am gonna leave that in there. I have no proof. No, I'm gonna put it where I usually put all of my extra stuff. Also, what time is it? 2. It is 2 p.m. We will put these in here because I'm gonna sell those. And then we will put these in here. I don't necessarily want to go... You know, no, fuck it, let's go. Because I think time holds, or stands still when we're underground, right? And if not, we'll find out. Real quick. Let's just go ahead and, like, head to the underground tunnel. We got the key. We've more or less done everything that we can at the moment. Obviously, we haven't, like, figured out how to get into the creepy house or do some of those things, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to. I should take everything with me that I should take everything I need with me, just no coming back. Okay. Maybe we will wait one more night. Maybe we won't. Let me go grab more health items. Let me repair everything. Don't let it be. Please. Please. Actually let it be the end. Don't tease us like that. What time is it? 3:30. It's getting real close to nighttime. But it's not quite nighttime. This is a weird, awkward place to be in. Repair. Repair. I feel like it might almost be worth it to make another board with nails. That's like upgraded, because I think I have enough stuff for it. I hate 3 o'clock. It would not shock me if that's a potential ending. Just getting trapped in the underground with no real way of, like, escaping would not shock me at all. Again, this game seems mean enough. Well, I don't want to say mean, really, but, like, it seems like it would potentially just be like, well, you didn't do it good enough. That's that. All done. You know? But yeah, having like an ending like that wouldn't necessarily shock me. And feels like very on brand, really. Let's put all of our like refill stuff down there. I am gonna make another board. And we'll upgrade with more nails and hardened, which I think are the same upgrades that I did previously. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I feel, yeah, we'll stay here for one more night. Don't switch it on yet. Don't really need to top it off, but we're going to. And then in the morning I can buy, like, the last bit of supplies that I need, right? Now the other question is, again, this seems extremely endgame, especially since the game is like, take what you need, there's no coming back. I don't need to move this here just yet. Do we just want to try and play it out? Like, play it until the end today? I'm kind of the mind to do it. I don't imagine it'll take us, like, more than a couple of hours, but that would still put us like an hour over what we would normally go through. Welcome back, Matt. I just... Got options. Oops! Sleep time. Again, what if I find a bunch of items? It's not gonna matter. I'm not gonna have a place to fix it or use them. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I guess we'll take... I am doing a big thing. There's a lot to consider at this point, honestly. Like... I mean, we're gonna be reaching the end of the game anyhow. Regardless of whether there's gonna be another save point or not. That's pretty clear at this point, right? So I might as well take everything with me. Worst comes to worst, there's no save spot for me down there. And so I will need to drop stuff, but that's okay because I wasn't planning on bringing it with me, and I'm only bringing it with me on the off chance that there is an oven and a workbench, right? Orange light means nighttime. Gotta lock ourselves in. So, ooh, I should make some traps. We love us a good Gatorade update. Am I all out of scrap? I am. Ooh, that's a bit problematic. No room in my inventory. Okay, well, game, hang on a second. Scrap! I need scrap metal! I need scrap metal to make a chain trap! Did not say crap wrong. Said scrap! I need that scrap! Well, this is not ideal. To be fair, feels like that's just the general state of everything right now. Okay, why aren't you... Hey, buddy. Matt, have you considered doing a sleep? Oh, it's 10 a.m. Well, have you considered a nap? Another nap? Naps are good. Okay, we'll put this here. It is now officially 8 o'clock, which means it is nighttime. Take a nap in the sun! Get that good vitamin D while you're doing a sleep. Okay. Take a nap after classes. That's how you do that. Alright. Gabriel? Is that how you say that? Gabriel94? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I need it to not be nighttime anymore, honestly, is what needs to happen. The sun doesn't exist in the afternoon? That sounds wrong. That sounds wrong. Do you got time between classes? Take a nap between classes. Just do a good rest between classes at the very least. Ooh, hiccups. Oh, it's gonna be 5 p.m. when you're done. That makes a little more sense. Hello? No one's home. gonna need you to go away. I'm not here. That's the other thing. We never got a code for the wedding, and I did look up. That was one of the things that I looked up. Oh, he angy. Can you not break my door down? This is a problem. What was I saying? Right, when Fruity and I were playing this together, we were trying to figure out, like, how to find codes, because there was that one door that we didn't realize we could just break down. I mean, that's where I sit with naps, Travis. That and the fact that I just can't take them. Naps say no to me. Yeah, I tried to look up, like, how to find codes in this game, because we couldn't figure out how to open the door, because it said that we needed, like, a key, and the other door had a code to it. Whatever. I happened to look up, like, the wedding code. It is randomized, so I can't just look it up and do it. But it said that, like, one of the nighttime events will bring you the code. And I didn't look at the specifics for it. But, like, I want to know how to get it. I don't ever recommend skipping class, but also, if you need to take a nap, you go take a nap. Enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your sunbathing. We'll see you later, friend. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, especially when I go to do, like, a second playthrough, I'm more willing to kind of, like, look things up. For my first time through, I do just kind of like to feel things out and figure out what's going on my own as much as possible. No, fuck off! Where did he go? Oh, he just vanished under the thing. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, if I play through it again, or when I play through it again, I'll be more willing to kind of check things out once more. Look certain things up, figure out how things function. Because, like, I would like to do the wedding area, but I can't because I don't know what the code is. I heard another trap go off. You looked up the wedding? Is it just randomized? Like, when it shows up? Okay. Bane grabs my arm and pulls me closer. Strong smell of mushrooms assails my nostrils. The old sack covering his body slides down, revealing his chest, covered in horrid growths. It's fused with a porous helmet, pulsating to the rhythm of his breath. I'm starting to feel dizzy. Without loosening his grip, the man raises his left arm, bringing his forearm to my face. It's pale as paper and reads, "Do not open the door. Let's stick together." Well, now I gotta open the door. Like, now we gotta. No, this is the traitor. Maybe the traitor is a traitor. Consider. Let's get rid of the rag. I don't need that. Did I run out of nails? Except... And I want to buy these, but I need to sell some stuff. Sell one thing of pills, we'll sell that, and we'll accept. No. Cancel trade. I was trying to stack the gas cans. Please. Excuse me? Oh, right, I did have nails. I just threw them on the ground. And And I have no more room in my inventory for the last 17, which is not fantastic. Did I not sell the bandages? I sold him the pills. That's what happened. Trade. Give him the regular bandages and I'll keep the alcohol-soaked ones. We'll take this. They really break all of my traps again. My dudes. It's fine. I think he just wants me to keep selling him stuff. Real talk? Okay, hold on. It's not gonna matter, right? Oh, I can't sell him the toy. Weird. Accept. Is there anything else I'm willing to get rid of? Not really. Put the toy away, I guess. Okay. Let's do this, I get. Right. Oh, did you look it up as well? Like I said, I figured he would probably like it. Our sweet little space boy. It's a shame I got it so late. No, it's just wrong. Okay. Fair enough. That's what I figured too, though. Field Truck would have loved it. I don't know who you are. Do not call me. Go away. We need... Alright, let's fucking do this. Let's go. I do want to see, like, what's down here. And if it's a save spot... I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't have a wedding invitation. That's what I saw. That's all I saw as far as, like, the wedding was concerned, is that you would need to get, like, an invitation from one of the night events. But I didn't look up the details of the event that would have to occur. But like I said, like none of the events. Oh, okay. I thought that would have made it very obvious. I didn't realize I had to like look for it. So that's unfortunate. Well, that's something to do the next time I play. Armored door. Insert the key. I know you were particularly interested in this game, Travis, since you're the one who recommended it or asked if I would play it on stream. At some point, if you want, we can like explore some of that extra stuff in the server, just to kind of check it out, because I know I want to. And if you're interested in it, or if anyone else is interested in it as well, we can plan some Darkwood days. Huge root. White goose slowly seeps from the giant root, flows down the hallway as if guided by some unseen force. Also, it's 8:32, and I just want to make sure that time is not moving, and it's not. It would have at this point. Darkwood days, mushroom nights. Yeah, exactly. Oh. Hi, man. Stumble upon something amongst the rubble. Strange soft item. Tunnel has collapsed recently. The reinforced steel protruding from the debris has not been covered with rust yet. When I gaze into the tunnel, I notice a silhouette of a man on the ground. Suddenly, the man snaps to life as if woken up from a deep slumber. Who goes there? Hear a faint, unnaturally distorted male voice. Are you one of them? The man attempts to get up but fails. I can see him desperately flailing his limbs around. It's as if his back has been glued to the ground. No, please. As I approach him, he shuffles his legs nervously, as if trying to retreat into the collapsed tunnel. I didn't do anything! I beg you! I just wanted to pass! To get back to my family! He is covered in alien goop. Trees block the only way out, the only path home. A huge, talking tree. I begged it to let me pass, but it wouldn't listen. I could not understand what it was saying to me, so we came here. Hi, Devo. The man props himself up on his elbows. With a huge effort, he tries to straighten his body, but something is firmly holding him up by the back and neck. I can't get up. The man drops onto the rubble and goes silent. He clenches his fist. My head hurts. Arcade, you would be the tree. You would be the tree! Let me pass, Arcade Tree! The man places his hand on his forehead and feels a strange dent above his left brow. He freezes. What is this? He carefully inserts his index finger into the hole. His eyelid twitches. My stone. I hear a sound as if an eggshell cracking. The forehead bends under his hand. Stranger pushes another finger into the hole. A thick goo spews from the wound. I can hear his skull cracking. My little stone. The man slowly removes his fingers from the hole in his head, a colorless ooze dripping from them. He's holding something. A round object. Yeah, right, this is awful. That's why. He swings his left hand and throws the object at me. A small, irregular ball bounces off my arm and lands at my feet. It looks like a bullet, but it's soft. This is what put me to sleep. His head lifelessly drops to the concrete floor of the destroyed tunnel and goes still. Tunnel's completely caved in. I'll not be able to break through this way. I'll need to find another. Hiccups. Yeah, that wasn't great! I did not like that! Big sign on the door reads closed area. This game is very good at painting those terrible word pictures, though. Excuse me? Oh, that was me. Okay. Yeah, hello? Oh, I hate this. I just wanted to pass, return to my family. I just wanted P-ass. Just give me the P-ass. I definitely, when I first looked at it, I thought he was asking for some ass, and I was like, this is not the place for that. What are you? Oh, I hate this. Why is that an eyeball? So strange organic growths. Travis, I hate it. Soft organism growing out of the ground. Okay, but I don't want to crawl on that. Just gonna walk around it. Shiny stone tied to a wooden cross. Great. Fantastic. I hate it here. Get me out. Get me out. Oh. Oh. I hate everything. I did not like that giant lizard man. I did not like the weird eyeballs. I didn't like the bad sounds. Did not like it. At all. At all. My god. Chapter 2? Wait a second. Damaged compressor, use to refill oxygen tanks. I should be able to fix it. Absolutely not the end. Alright. I didn't. It feels like a weird Seuss book. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, that's just shadow and bad. Great has bees, not more eyes. I don't like it here. Hey, game? Hey, game. This place? Bad. Bad place. Got eyes. Eyes on the inside. Eyes on the outside. Just eyes. Up. Just eyes. Day 1, 1500, or, yeah, 15 hours. The compressor is broken, so is the lock on the trapdoor leading to the underground. Had to use a blowtorch. Fucking moisture. Day 2, 1200 hours. We took U5? 45 photos of the tree, quote unquote, from the observation point in the vicinity of or 3C. Grew twice its size in a month. Really quick, even for the local standards. Day 2, 20 hours. I'm slowly running out of oxygen. I've sent 2 men to search the nearby junkyard. Maybe we won't have to go back for spare parts with the compressor. Watch out for the cottage near the junkyard, marked building on the map. Someone could be living there. Day 2, 12 hours. At least 10 locals lurking between the trees. How do they know about us? We won't be able to gather our equipment in time. The risk of getting detected is too high. Need to evac. Well, this is extremely unfortunate. Wow, this whole place is a fucking disaster. Let's dump some stuff off. Time is moving again. That is unfortunate. That's all weaponry. I'm gonna keep the boards and matches on, or boards and nails on us right now. That's healing items that I would like to just keep on me. Matches can go here. I'll keep the gas on me so we can refill the generator when I can find it. Need a key. None of my keys fit. What use are you then? I hate it here. Nothing in the wardrobe. Is there nothing here? Like, is it all just bad? Crate covered in a strange organic black shell. I won't be able to open it until I get rid of the substance. So, you want... Like, does this work? No. That would be a no. Fuck. This place is bad. I don't like it here. Right, I've already looked at this. What am I doing? It's covered in a thick layer of dust. It looks like no one has used this for a long time, but it still smells of warm plastic and burned wires. Reminds you of Albuquerque. That is not great. Let's go ahead and repair the well. None of these spaces are great to hide in. And that's a bit problematic for me. Personally. I don't like having things that are insecure. Like... What does this do? What use is this? I am very quickly running out of boards to use. I don't like that at all. Ugh. This whole place is just not great. I don't know where, like, what would be a good place to bunker down in for nighttime, you know? Like, all of these rooms are bad. They're all extremely exposed. So let's... yeah, again, it's just like, it's all bad. Could... I don't know what to do. I'm scared. At this point, my question is, how many chapters are there?
Awaiting the truck, but found these on my phone.
Thank you, Sarah. I hope work goes well for you. Everything is bad here. It's just bad time in Darkwood land. Not fans. Game did not end. I did kind of forget that it broke itself down into chapters. We did have a prologue, and it did say chapter 1, I guess, when we first started playing. What are you? Note with photo signs. It's Dark Swamp now! Yup! Yup! Alright, so 12th of September 1984. We found new signs 70 kilometers west of the hideout, 33 points, 12 circles, cataloged patterns, 6 unidentified patterns, or 1 cataloged pattern, 6 unidentified patterns, simple scribblings of a madman. Do I have a map for this area? I do. Cottage near the junkyard, village. I'm here at the hideout. I hate it here. I want to know what that does. Who knows? Who knows? Hitting the valve will release a high pressure gas and result in explosions. Sounds good! I hope that the trucks arrive without any incident. It's always lovely to hear from ya. Nice to see ya. Yeah. I am scared and confused and don't know what to do. Everything is bad here. This is stuff to sell, so we'll put it up there. I didn't bring the bell with us. I wonder if that would have worked out here. Curious. Okay. Well. Here's our generator. Let's go ahead and fill it up. We'll do one more night, and then we'll call it quits. Sound like a plan? I'm not gonna wander too far, but I do kind of want to see what's around. Also, there are new sounds, and I don't like it. Is that a leech? Why? No! I don't want to give the tree a hug. That did break the tentacle. I'm sorry, is that tree making me like... It's like tree hugging in reverse. Okay, sure, it doesn't want a hug from me. I don't want to hug it. I don't want it to hug me. I just don't want it to touch me at all. I am kind of regretting not having any sort of long-range weapon now. I mean, we've got We've got our pistol, but our aim is terrible. Is wheezing though. I hate it here. And I'm very scared that those lizard men are gonna show up. Here we were, thinking that the Darkwood was gonna be over sometime soon. Joke's on us. I'm curious as to how many chapters there are. Yeah, no, 100% something's gonna jump out of the water. Like, it's going to happen. And I'm not looking forward to it. At all. It's gonna be miserable. We're all gonna hate it. They're useless now. Don't switch the generator on just yet. Don't turn it on yet. We're not ready for that. Efficiency 64, goodness gracious. Okay, we need more boards. And I need to drag something in front of six and 10. I don't have that. I need to drag something here. I need something blocking this way. Or here. And like, all the things that I can repair, I don't have enough supplies for. And that's terrifying. I'm not looking forward to this extremely bad situation that we have found ourselves in. You know. There's a bear trap. Yeah, how many chapters? Please, please, please. That sounds like a chomper. That's a dog. Nails, boards. Please. Don't like those sounds. This is all just extremely bad. Just the two in an epilogue. Okay. Okay. That feels manageable. We're gonna be playing Darkwood for forever, basically, is what I'm hearing. But not nearly as long as we expected. And obviously, yeah. We got through that one. That was fine. God, I wish I had more scrap. That's weapons. That's weapons. That feels manageable. I'm okay with this. I wish I had a bigger backpack as well. I do wish I had a bigger backpack. Maybe some pockets. If only. Let's repair the doorway. But I still don't have enough to do that. I'm too short. Damn it. No pockets. No pockets. Only suffering! No pockets! Okay, let's put this away, and let's put that away. I guess we'll put this away. I don't need the extra... I feel so dumb now. I wasted all that supplies for nothing, it feels like. Okay, this is bad and I hate it. Didn't I pull another... I pulled a lamp in here, didn't I? It is on now. Okay, that feels better. I was like, I'm pretty sure I pulled a lamp in here. Let's make it through this night, and then we'll end it there. I've got the fear hunger now. I am hungry and scared. I don't like this! What are you doing? WRA. Combust. Come back to us? That's gonna be soon. I'm close. I hated everything about that situation. Okay, I do kind of like our eyeball friend here. They do give us light every so often. I appreciate that. So if all of our lights go out, it's not an ideal situation, but we can run outside and hang out in that light if we absolutely have to. It might be a good idea to put some combustible tanks out there. Huh? Hi, Dougie. Buddy doesn't want to watch us is the thing. Whoa! Where are you going? What is happening right now? What is happening right now? What is happening right now? It's going good. Well, it's going. Game just keeps getting scarier and scarier, but it's fine. It's dogs. It's a dog. 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 I was 100% ready for the end, and it's not happening. Just get in here, dog. Just come here, dog. Hi, Ams. I appreciate the lurk. It's also nice to see you, friend. Yeah, no, I'm doing all right. We're doing okay. But, I was expecting the game to end. Did not like that sound. Ah! Where are you? Where are you? Kill it with fire! Kill it with fire! Kill it with fire! Killing it with fire! Dead centipede! There's a dog outside. Oh, I hate this. Oh. But yeah, everything is happening. Hope you're doing well too, Dougie. And you too, Hams. Oh, okay. Well, that's gonna be that. That's gonna be that for today. What are these? The 3. Sorry, can we just take a moment to... Hey, game, give me my... Those are some boys. Okay. The 3 visitors stare at me in silence as if waiting for my move. Can only hear the heavy breathing of the tallest figure holding a giant bag. As the tallest figure opens the bag, the room is filled with an intense smell of mushrooms. Apparently they wish to give me something. Can't show them any items. Oh, lordy. Give me all of this. Give me all of these. Give me all of these. How about some of that? Maybe some of this. Except they nod. Okay, so they're the new version of the trader. That's neat. We're gonna fill all that up. That's gonna be fine. We'll do inventory management, maintenance, general house upkeep next time. That did just save, right? It did. And I'm gonna make a note to myself and put it up high so that I know that that's what I need to do. But, Darkwood, y'all. Hold on. Writing it down now so I don't forget. Look, I can be nice to future Kaysh sometimes. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's always nice to see you, Arcade. I like it when you pop in and say hello. But I hope everyone else had a good time with it as well. I have given myself a stress headache now, because that was terrifying. But I'm excited to see what this chapter brings. Excited and scared to see what this chapter brings. Woof. It's fine. I'll drink some water and eat some food and I'll be tip-top shape. That centipede freaked me out though. Was not prepared for that. Alright. Let's set up a raid. Does anybody have any recommendations? We haven't seen any new folks recently. But if not, I got Mrs. Kiwi doing some Dead by Daylight, Hugh Chu doing some Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water. So I'm here for either of those. But again, we haven't really, like, seen anyone new recently. That might be fun. But if not, we can go say hi to Chu. Thanks for being here, Dougie. When am I gonna play DBD? I mean, whenever. I don't mind streaming DBD, but I don't know. I have an issue with matchmaking sometimes. But if people want to play DBD with me, I'll play DBD with people. When are we gonna play Genshin again? When I have time. I still need to get to the proper level. But I should be able to do that in one more sit down. Maybe sometime the end of the week. We'll see. We'll see. Shit's weird right now. But I'm here for it. We gotta do it. We gotta make it happen. We just gotta find time for it. Well, play all the games with me then. Then let's do it. We gotta make time for it. We gotta plan times for it. Okay? 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 I want to play games with you too. So let's make it happen. Alright, I'm gonna set up the raid for Chew. Go send the love over to our sweet, lovely, darling friend. Take care of yourselves. We'll see y'all next time. Wednesday. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being lovely. Take care of your dang selves. Yeah. Bye, y'all.